Hey guys, this is Issues with Daddy Skip. How you doing? What's your name? Guys, how do you think we got it right? How do you think all or most, or the true, or the you can't blow smoke up our tushies content creators got it right when we said, Gypsy and Ken, they don't look too happy together. They're not too comfortable together. Look at how they even stand next to each other. How'd we know? How'd we know? And how do we know that we knew? Well, I'll tell you how we knew that we knew. Because Gypsy had admitted, Ken and I, since I got pregos, sex life gone down a little bit. Chemistry a little off. Because, see, as you guys know, Ken has been very critical of Gypsy by just the way that he kind of makes fun of her. He has this, what's the word I'm looking for? Where, where he feels like he knows more than she does. Like, he can teach her a thing or two. Like, he has some sort of superiority over, anybody's got a superiority over Gypsy, except the person that impregnates her and acts proud about it. That person, that's a little sus to me, because that person should probably get their head examined, as I'm sure your parents probably have told you after all of this. But how did we get it so that we saw the problems between Gypsy and Ken? Because we saw it in pictures. We saw it in Ken's aggravation, in Ken's lack of patience, in Ken's, oh my God, what did I get myself into? We saw it. We read it. It was there. It was clear. And people said, no, everything's good between them. It is too early on in their relationship for them to have problems in the bedroom. Especially with Gypsy, who is super hyper sexual. And I challenge anybody to bet me that I'm wrong on that one. I'll show you a few oral bees or something. I don't know. Seriously, guys. They're first-time parents that, clearly, I don't know, are just learning how to parent, and one seems a lot more serious about it than the other one. The other one's trying to do some dance moves like Jagger, like I said, and not succeeding very well. And the other one seems to really be trying to be domesticated and be a dad and be a partner. It is strange how Gypsy's life only exists around Gypsy and how Gypsy looks and how she is portrayed for somebody who has made herself portrayed terribly. You can't go back on that. She has messed things up from the start. There were so many ways she could have played this, and I'm going to do a video about this, but there were so many smarter ways to go about this and to probably make just as much money, but to have had some sort of dignity and respect along the way. But the thing is, Nina said this, Morbid said this, Becca said this, Ivory Rose Grows Wild said this, the Ivory Rose with the brown hair said this, I've said this, so many, that Gypsy cannot help herself. She simply cannot help herself, and that is going to be her downfall. It is going to be, somebody said she's going to do something stupid. Somebody said this a long time ago. What's she going to do when that baby starts crawling? When that baby begins showing any type of autonomy. When you really have to pay attention, when you really have to make sure that the kid isn't getting into anything, how is she going to handle that situation? She's going to have to, it seems to me, incorporate the kid into her daily life, which is online, as we can see. Maybe they will do these, you know how on TikTok there's these mom and son or mom and daughter, or, these dances that they do in synchronicity, and they're cute. So, maybe they'll do something along the lines of that. I just cannot see Gypsy being a full-time mom and watching a child the way a child, especially a toddler who's just starting to crawl and get into everything. I just can't see Gypsy being 100% following the child, paying attention to the child, making that child her priority, because it doesn't seem like she's made the child her priority now. You know how many there are people that make millions upon millions of dollars, movie stars that make celebrities, singers, athletes make millions upon millions upon dollars, and they won't leave without their kids. Like, their kids will come on the set with them. There's maybe a nursery. A lot of athletes that don't want to leave their families will have their families come on the road with them. They don't want to miss a second of what's going on in their child's life. Gypsy seems to be looking for every second she can to get away from her child. She is grateful for not having to be there at every beck and call. And the thing is this is when your child needs you the most, because you have to look for everything that they're trying. A child is always trying to communicate what they want, whether they know it or not. So they do it by crying, they do it by laughing, they'll do it by pointing, they'll do it by looking intensely. They're always trying to communicate, and that is how you know what your child likes, what your child's favorite thing is, what makes them laugh, and before your child can even speak. You're already gonna notice, oh, well, when I wear green, the child can't take their eyes off, points all the time, and things like that. Gypsy has no desire in seeming to know even the littlest things that will make her daughter Aurora, and not just Gypsy's daughter. So what will happen, honestly, when Aurora starts with her autonomy? Will Gypsy put her inside of a playpen so that she will only crawl so far? Or will she get on her hands and knees and crawl with her daughter? Because somehow, some way, I just don't see that. I especially don't see that unless we're watching it happen on a TikTok, where apparently we can't watch it happen on a TikTok because, Gypsy's not going to film her kid or show her kid, but we already know, listen, she failed at that. It's just, I don't know what's going to be with this woman, but it seems like when it comes to critical thinking, that's out the window when it comes to Gypsy. Just friggin' out the window. I could say I don't like Ken as much as I want, but I have to say I think he's the more responsible one when it comes to this kid. I would trust Ken with this kid before I would trust Gypsy. In the meantime, I want a grandparent in there. Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. Tell me what you think in the comments. I appreciate you guys so much. So much. I really do. We're working on our next year of giving to Make-A-Wish Foundation. We gave away about $750 this year to Make-A-Wish Foundation in hopes to get a wheelchair or to help sponsor something with a wheelchair. At least one wheelchair that maybe Gypsy Rose took from somebody who really needed one. Guys, check the community page and let's see what we did with 20% of the net profits from this channel, and just how amazing you guys are. I appreciate you so much. Be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, guys.